This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. Well, it's been a very spicy 48 hours. And for those that live under a rock and don't know what's been going on, President Trump a couple days ago officially revoked his endorsement of Marjorie Taylor Greene and in fact called for a primary challenger to MTG. Yeah, it's official. It's no longer speculation. We've been hearing some rumors about this, that Trump was getting sick of MTG and that he might revoke the endorsement. But most people thought, okay, he might be getting sick of her, but he's not going to try to get rid of her now. Maybe in 2028 on his way out. Maybe he tries a primary challenge then. But right now, maybe he's not going to do it. Well, Trump said, screw it. I revoke the endorsement of MTG. And this caused a shitstorm. Because, let's face it, this is shocking. MTG and President Trump, they have been close for years now. They've been very close since like 2020. And MTG has been a close advisor to President Trump. And even with all the stuff that's happened lately, no one really thought that Trump would go this far and say, screw it, I'm done with her. But when you've seen what she has done the past couple of months, it begins to make some sense. Now, listen, let's be clear about one thing. I don't think the timing of this endorsement was ideal. I think this was a bad idea to do this right after what happened on last Tuesday. Because even though the majority of people have issues with MTG now, they realize, oh, there's some major problems here. There's still a chunk of voters in the base that love MTG. They love her. They think she's phenomenal. She's great. And doing this right after last Tuesday, where it's very clear that you have a base issue with turnout, maybe it's not the best idea. Maybe you should wait a couple of weeks or whatever. It's not an ideal way to do this, but really, the more you look into MTG's record, the more you look into what she said in the past, it's becoming clear she has to go. She has to go as soon as possible. And really, we can start with how she responded to Trump revoking this endorsement. And let's start with this tweet right here. And in my opinion, these tweets were mask-off moments for MTG. Because in this tweet right here, she blames aggressive, violent rhetoric on President Trump and that, oh, because of his aggressive rhetoric, I'm getting all these death threats now. What? You're blaming Trump for violent rhetoric and that now you're getting threats? That's bullshit because, guys, MTG for years has been saying there's people threatening her, which is awful. That should never happen. But even before this endorsement was revoked, she was dealing with this for years. But now she blames Trump. Really? And look what she says right here. His aggression against me, which also fuels the venomous nature of his radical internet trolls, many of whom are paid. This is completely shocking to everyone. Who does it sound like to you? Does this really sound like the MTG everyone thought she was? This sounds like Liz Cheney. This is the type of shit Liz Cheney would say. Oh, the internet trolls. They're after me, and his internet trolls are aggressive, and really? Blaming Trump for this? Are you insane? It's unbelievable. And then, just today, she went on CNN of all outlets. Yeah, not Fox News, not Newsmax, not whatever. She went on CNN. She went on there and attacked Trump and said, oh, you know, he called me a traitor, therefore it puts a target on my back. Really? This is ridiculous on so many levels. And really, if we're going to use this logic, where if you call somebody a traitor, it's not just hurtful, but it puts a target on their backs and then puts your life in danger, okay. Hey, MTG, a quick question. What's this about? Where you called Secretary Mayorkas a traitor. Now, you can argue if he was or wasn't. I think he was for what he did with the southern border. But You went at Steve Bannon's show and said, yeah, Secretary Mayorkas, he's a traitor. He's a traitor to the country, and we gotta get rid of him. Let's keep going. She said the same thing with John Kerry back in 21, that John Kerry is a traitor to the United States of America. Keep in mind, she is directly saying that John Kerry was a traitor to the U.S. What's worse? Trump saying, she betrayed the base, we gotta get rid of her, with a primary or whatever, versus what she said here. Seriously, how can you say what Trump said was dangerous rhetoric, but this wasn't? And again, I'm not even disagreeing with what MTG said here or with Mayorkas, but the problem is she's a hypocrite on this issue. This one thing she's a hypocrite on, because she said repeatedly, "You're a traitor. You're a traitor. You're a traitor." Is that hurtful? Is that putting a target at somebody's back? Of course it doesn't. Give me a break. Maybe politically, sure. But the claim that causes violence? Really? When you yourself said the same thing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So yeah, this interview was ridiculous. It's a type of shit Liz Cheney would say. The type of crap that the Liz Cheneys of the world would say. So already, we're off to a very good start. But then in the rest of this interview, she talks about the real reason that Trump is doing this. Like, she implied it, or in fact, she directly said it. It's over the Epstein files. That is the reason that Trump is doing all of this. All right? That's her theory for why this is going on. Now, listen, let's be clear about one thing. I have been very critical of this admin over the handling of the Epstein files. I think they should have just released all of it back in March or April. Or at least what they could. Don't do this crap of waiting for months, because that's where the conspiracies start. And then we're in the situation we're in because of it. So I agree that this admin has botched this big time. But at the same time, all right, this isn't over the Epstein files. You know why? Because like MTG, yes, she's making a huge push to release the files. But here's something that these people don't mention, like MTG. You know who else is going after the files, and Trump has not said a word? Yes, privately, he's talked to these people, but you know who's done the same thing? Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert, she's openly defying Trump right now over the Epstein files, but here's the difference. Do you have her running around doing these sham press conferences, bashing Trump and then not trying to work with him? No. But President Trump, yes, he has called Boebert, but Boebert explained why she's doing it. And yeah, Trump and Boebert disagree on it, but do you see Trump calling Boebert a traitor anywhere? As of now, no. Could that change? Maybe. But people like Nancy Mace, same thing. They're pushing for the Epstein files to be released. There's so many Republicans right now in Congress pushing for the files to be fully released. Yet Trump doesn't say a word about them. So he's targeting MTG over the Epstein files, which again, they've handled it poorly, but you can't even you're not going after Boebert or Mace. If you're Trump, why would you only target MTG and Massey? It's as if this isn't over just the Epstein files, maybe partially because MTG and Massey have been the most vocal, sure. But Boebert's going to vote on, releasing the files. And Trump's not going to say anything about her more than likely. So what's the argument here? And funny enough, if this was over the Epstein files, I think it's because of this image right here. For those that don't know, a couple months ago, Massey, MTG, and Democrat operatives, yes, they worked with Democrat operatives and some bullshit lawyers to hold a press conference / protest right outside the Capitol over the Epstein files, where they have a bunch of these victims or whatever. They showed up, and it was a shit show even at the start. I mean, they're claiming they got a list, and then they don't release anything for months. They lied about it. It was a big mess. But look at behind MTG and Massey. You know what's the problem? This is their protest, by the way. So you can't just say, well, they had no idea about this. Guys, this was their idea to do a press conference. They had to know this was going to happen. And I'm not even saying they believe this. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're Trump and you see this, which funny enough, look at the very back sign. Trump equals traitor. I thought, you put a target on somebody's back if you call them a traitor. So yeah, MTG again, just this whole tweet's bullshit. But really, how can you say this is perfectly fine? How? I mean, I'm not saying Massey or MTG did these signs or whatever. It's just a bad look, and yeah, no wonder Trump's like, oh, screw this. If it's over the Epstein files, it's stuff like this. This performative bullshit that helps nobody. In fact, is a giant insult to the entire thing, the entire point of this. It's a joke. Another image right here. Same thing. They say Trump's you know what? He's on the list. Another sign that I'm not going to read here for obvious reasons. It's bad. This stuff right here is the problem with MTG and Massey, with the Epstein stuff. It's performative bullshit. They obsessed over 24/7, every single tweet. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. It's just, okay, release the files. We all support that. But it just gets annoying. It's just like, okay, we get the point. We want you to release the files. Do it. Stop the performative bullshit and actually do something. Because this doesn't help anybody. And really, it hurts your case. To work with Democrat operatives and some people that claim they have a list and by the way, publicly. So you can't just say, oh, they're being threatened or whatever. They publicly said they had a list. They were to compile. So they announced the whole world they have a list ready to be released. And it's been 2.5 months. And even Thomas Massey and MTG, they were hyping up this list as well. Oh my gosh, we have the list. We're going to read it all on the House floor so nobody can do anything about it. And nothing has happened. It's a giant shit show. So if it's really over the Epstein files, it's because of stuff like this. Not because she's trying to release it. Why would it be over the fact she wants to release it? When Boebert's pushing for it to be released. Nancy Mace, same thing. It's not over this. So yeah, this idea is over Epstein. Complete nonsense. It's bullshit. You know what this is really over? The real reason, which funny enough, she actually kind of, deflects on. It's over the fact President Trump told her not to run for Senate or governor in Georgia. And now she's claiming, no, I never had this conversation with Trump. I only talked to myself and, I never talked to him about it. And this right here should prove she's full of shit. You know why? We have reports, not from 5 days ago, reporting on this, because that's one thing. Like, okay, if they knew Trump was going to revoke the endorsement, they would drop bullshit stories. That's one thing. There's reports back in March, April, May, talking about the fact that President Trump, he's not going to support her. He's not going to support MTG for Senate or governor. He told her, no, you just can't win. And he had polls to prove it. And that's why Mike Collins ran. So she's lying about this. She can't tell the truth about this whatsoever. She's full of it. We have reports back from 6 months ago saying President Trump does not want her to run for Senate or governor. And funny enough, right when those reports dropped, that's when the tone shift happened with MTG on a bunch of issues. That's like the day after that dropped. You first had the Doge Committee, which is another shit show that nobody talks about. It's a disaster. Nothing gets done. They talk about nonsense. But that fell apart basically immediately after that story leaked or dropped or whatever. And then that's when she magically became more skeptical of Trump, more anti-Trump on most things. It's like the day after. It's like, what do you think happened? She got mad that Trump said, no, I'm not going to endorse you for governor or Senate. And then right after that, that's when she lost it. The timeline works out perfectly. Like, it's perfect, the timeline for this. So yeah, this whole thing with MTG, it's over the fact that she wanted to run for Senate. She was never going to win. And Trump said no. But there's a bunch of reasons she's claiming against Epstein, they're claiming, but also they're claiming it's over immigration. It's over the fact that Trump's against getting rid of H-1B visas, but allegedly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she proposed a bill 2 days ago, wanted to ban H-1B visas, and the day after, Trump revoked his endorsement, and that looks bad on Trump. That's another thing why I think that was a bad idea. She knew that endorsement was going to happen, where he's going to revoke the endorsement. So what she did, she played games, finally proposed a piece of legislation to end the H-1B visa scam, and that's what happened. She proposed it a couple days ago, all right? She proposed it on what? November 3rd? The day before Trump revoked the endorsement. Well, here's a funny thing about that. The day before that, Chip Roy, of all people who everybody knows, Trump and Roy, they hate each other. They hate each other big time. They don't like each other for whatever reason. But Chip Roy, he proposed a even more aggressive immigration bill that would end H-1Bs, get rid of birthright citizenship, reform chain migration, blah, blah, blah. A day before MTG proposed this, and you can read the bills, she just basically copied and pasted what Chip Roy proposed. Yet, Trump has not said anything about Chip Roy. Has he? Even though Trump and Roy hate each other. In fact, there's been so many congressmen and women, and even those in the Senate, proposing ideas to end H-1B visas. Yet, Trump has not said anything about those people. Funny how that works. And if we're really going down this rabbit hole of H-1Bs and stuff, just a couple of months ago, back in December of last year, everybody remembers this shit show with Elon Musk and Ramaswamy. MTG supported H-1Bs. She attacked Americans, saying they're useless, they're lazy, they're pathetic, they can't do anything. The same type of crap Musk and Ramaswamy were saying, especially Ramaswamy. So, she can't even stay consistent on H-1Bs. Hell, if we're talking about immigration, it's a couple days ago. She went on a podcast and said, we should not deport illegal aliens, or at least no mass deportations. Because I own a construction company and I know we need illegal immigrants for labor. Yeah, this is real. So what does MTG stand for? You don't know. 1 second it's something really good. The next second, who knows? Who knows what you're getting? And that's going to always be the problem with MTG. That's been the problem for a couple of years now. So again, there's a lot of stuff you could go over with her, like her net worth magically exploding ever since she got into Congress. You could talk a lot about how she was a big fan of Kevin McCarthy. She changed her mind on a bunch of other issues. There's a lot of things to talk about. But in a nutshell, this civil war that's potentially brewing on the right, it's over the fact that Trump said no to endorsing MTG for Senate. That's it. That's the only reason she did all of this. Not because she had a magical conversion. Maybe she did have some issues, sure. But really, she is mad at Trump for not endorsing her for Senate. And called it a day and said, oh, you know what? Orange man bad. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends. And of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.